guys, that's your Comanche today in Raid Shadow Legends with another champion guide, this time on an oldie but a goodie. He's a niche champion, but at least he has a niche in the game, which is more than you can say about some legendary champions out there. And it is none other than Warchief. Now, before we get into the guide, let me give a couple shout outs to you guys. So Robert Kuzma says, just got 2 new Legos, supremely disappointing Kale and Warchief. Any chance of a Warchief guide, especially for Hydra and Magma Dragon, if you can, go Harrier, dude. No. And then Robert again. So I guess it's just a shout out to Robert Kuzma, who really wants to see a Warchief guide. And again, he goes with Go Harrier, dude. I don't know why I give you a shout out, Robert. Anyway, guys, keep the champion requests coming. That is obviously how I get the content for you guys on this channel. I go with your recommendations, your suggestions for champions that you want to see me do a guide on. So Warchief, right? I mean, this is a very, as he alluded to, a very useful champion, either as a Hydra or a Magma Dragon Provoker. Now, he's one of the best Provokers in the game. If not, you know, scratch that. He's the best single target Provoker in Raid Shadow Legends. Nobody even comes close, in my opinion. Let's talk about why, okay? Well, it's pretty obvious when we look at his kit. First of all, Force Affinity Skinwalker, legendary defense-based champion. His base stats, 19k HP, 1465 defense, very tanky. His base speed is not too bad either at 102. And this guy, I mean, he looks pretty cool, right? He's in a bunch of like Doom Tower and Faction War waves. You know, the dude that you use Seer against and he reflects that damage back and she dies. You know, that Warchief, that's him, right? He's in a bunch of dungeon waves as well, just to annoy us, I feel like. Anyway, on this passive, Standstill reflects 60% of the damage back onto the attacker. Defense increased by 15% for each dead ally. You'd think a 60% damage reflect would be absolutely insane. It's just not, for whatever reason, right? It's a little bit negligible. They did way back in the day, they changed how reflect damage works. Way back, he was actually pretty good against Demon Lord Clan Boss, but now it's just not that much damage at all. So you're really looking at, well, it's a nice to have, but it's not a game changer unless you're going against him with somebody like Seer. Then it's gonna hurt. On his A1, Brutal Force, a triple hitter with a 35% chance of placing a provoke for 1 turn, damage according to defense, obviously. So triple hitter, that's great. It's going to give you probably a clue to our tier 6 mastery on this champion. 35% chance win booked is not that great. You know, it's not on each hit. It's just 1 time a chance of placing that provoke, but it's not about his A1. His A2 is the best provoke in the game. Single target again. It is a 2-turn cooldown. They actually buffed him. Patch 4.70. The same patch that they buffed Tomb Lord, Intila Gormain, and Pixneal. They actually gave a buff, a notable buff to Warchief that a lot of people overlooked because it wasn't like a massive game changer, but it's noteworthy. They decreased the cooldown to 3 turns on his A2, okay? So when we look at his A2, it used to be 4 turns. Booked down to 3. Now it's a 3-turn, booked down to 2. What this did was, guys, it allows us not to have to use any skill tomes on Warlord or Warchief. Did I call him Warlord a few times? My bad. On Warchief. Big difference between Warlord and Warchief, right? So Warchief on his A2 now, it's a provoke that's placed, not predicated on a critical hit, it's just placed for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Steals 2 random buffs from the target is a really nice addition to this skill, but that's it, guys. It's a 3-turn provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. If you want to book him out, even better. It's a 3-turn provoke on a 2-turn cooldown. Why would you bother booking him out? Well, the answer is it's less predicated on his speed. For example, if whoever you're attacking that you want to be provoked all the time, 100% of the time, is faster than Warchief, it might wear off, or they might get an extra turn or something like that. So it's even better on a 2-turn cooldown, of course. But again, it's definitely a champion you can get by with. Save your skill tomes, man. This is a legendary you do not have to book after that buff to the A2 ability, okay? So that's it, man. A very basic kit, 1 active ability. He's got that passive. What I like to do on, and I want to talk about where to use this champion again. I talked Hydra. We talked to Magma Dragon. The thing is, I'm not a big fan of Warchief in Hydra. Why? Because frankly, he's not bringing anything other than a provoke to the battle, right? So yeah, he's great at locking down on Hydra for Provoker. But there's so many other champions in the game that bring a nice AoE provoke and maybe some heals, maybe some other stuff to the table as well, like a bunch, right? I could name you all the way from the Krisks of the world to a Contra the Cyclone of the world to a Bivault of the Thorn. There's a lot of good provokers out there. I'm not going to sit here and name them all. And Molly Tankard. In Warchief, he's only bringing the provoke. Not a lot of damage, no other support, nothing, you know? So for me, yeah, sure, he can be a lockdown provoker in Hydra, but for me, it's mitigated by the fact that he's bringing absolutely nothing else. And again, this reflex is not going to be any damage. It's not going to amount to much at all at the end of the battle. You'd almost honestly be surprised at how little damage he puts out considering the 60% reflect. Anyway, for Magma Dragon, he is the best provoker, bar none, in the game. Now listen, I just talked about this champion not bringing much to the table other than just being one of the best provokers out there. So I like to get a little bit more out of him, right? Especially if you're going to use him in any other areas. If you get him kind of early, you want to use him as a progression champion in some areas, it's fine. I would just throw a shield set on him or a bolster set on him and try to get a little bit more. Now, that reflect damage does work in kind of a sneaky way in the arena. So he can be like a sneaky go second team arena champion if you're just trying to fill out that last spot on your team, if you wanted to. He's definitely not an S tier arena champion, but he can be a sneaky little, champion that people aren't expecting and don't necessarily know how to deal with, or maybe they're just not familiar with his kit. So that is another way you can use this champion. And again, it would behoove you to put him in a shield or a bolster set. A champion that you're not getting a ton of utility out of anyway, might as well throw him in the shield. That's what I did here, right? So Magma Dragon, if the cycles are messed up on my champions, whatever, and we get to the Magma Dragon, he ends up hitting us, so the provoke falls off or whatever, it's nice to have early on that shield. So I like him in a shield set. No reason to put him in a provoke set because he's already got the lockdown provoke on the A2 and he's got the backup on the A1, right? So triple perception is another easy way to build this champion. Another way to consider would be a guardian set. So then he's, kind of tanking for the team as well. If I went guardian set, I'd probably just go all out damage mitigation. I'd also pick up Bulwark as a tier 6 mastery. But in this build, we're going to get a little bit of damage out of him because we don't need the damage mitigation against the top floor of Magma using the team that we're going to be using today. So for offense, I'm just going to go with some crit rate, crit damage. I'm just going to kind of hug the left-hand side, go down a single out, bring it on. I think I'm going to come down and pick up Kill Streak. You don't love it, but I'll pick up Kill Streak because I want to come down and pick up Giant Slayer. Here, let me move out of the way real quickly here, guys. So that's it. I mean, I want to end with Giant Slayer because he's got a triple hitter on that A1, get a little bit of damage against Magma or wherever else you're going to be using this champion. Other than that, I'm going to go support tree and pick up more accuracy on this champion, right? Because if there's one stat that really matters other than survivability on this champion, it's going to be accuracy. We don't need Sniper. We don't need Master Hexer. It's not going to help this champion out at all. So we'll just go with Spirit Haste instead. Let's go with Eagle Eye. Let's go with Arcane Celerity for debuff, turn meter improvement, and I don't know, let's just go with Heart of Glory as well to finish things off here. Last but not least, let's go Methodical. So when all said and done, these are my preferred masteries on this champion. Again, honestly, guys, a champion that not only do you not have to book, but you also don't really need masteries on this champion, honestly. That's like the cool thing about him. The downside is super one-dimensional. The upside is that one dimension is amazing, and you don't need to book them. You don't need masteries. They're not imperative on this champion. You could use them all the way at floor 110 or whatever it is, Magma Dragon on Doom Tower hard, and he's still going to get the job done, right? Throw him in triple perception, be on your way. Stat priority, as we talked about, accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. 385 is fine for any stage of Magma Dragon. And then speed. Accuracy, speed, survivability. It's as easy as that. A very easy champion to build. Throw accuracy on the banner. I threw defense on the amulet, HP on the ring. We threw, HP percentage on the gauntlets, defense percentage on the chest, speed on the boots. We don't need 100% crit rate. You can do it if you want to, get a little bit of damage. In terms of his multipliers, guys, he has a 1 defensive rating, which is a strong rating on the A1. It is a triple hitter, so 3, if you add them all up. And then a 4.3, which is strong rating on the A2. So you can get some damage if you can keep him alive. He's going to have a constant provoke up. So we really need to keep this dude alive as well. It's really important, right? So build him nice and tanky. Again, I'm aiming for, 4,000, 50k HP and 4,000 on defense for endgame content as a minimum on this champion. So there you have it, guys. A pretty simple build. In terms of blessings, I would absolutely go Intimidating Presence on this champion. Let him be the Intimidating Presence champion to strengthen your aura on your team and weaken the enemies. Most importantly, strengthening your own. What other way would we even go with this champion? Go Brimstone, I guess, right? He's going to have the accuracy anyway, right? So just get a little bit more damage by trying to apply those smites. So I would say Brimstone, or if you already have a couple Brimstone champions on the team or whatever, go with Intimidating Presence. Those would be my favorite masteries on this champion. In the arena, if you want to use an unorthodox build, since you're going to be having him with accuracy anyway, you can go Polymorph, right? But I would still make sure you have an Intimidating Presence champion before considering Polymorph. All right, guys, let's go into Doom Tower. Let's get it done here. This is floor 110, Doom Tower Hard, Magma Dragon. This is my main team. Sorry for it being so pay to win, but this is the squad that I run, and it gets the job done. Let's just put it that way. Now, the cool thing is you don't need all these OP champions, right? For Magma Dragon, to me, he's one of the easiest Doom Tower champions. I don't know about you guys. Who do you consider the easiest? I really think that Magma Dragon, Griffin, and Eternal Dragon, those three, for me, are the absolute easiest bosses. The cool thing is because he can have lockdown control, what's his face? Dude, Warchief, Ash. Warchief, bro. Because he has lockdown control, it's actually really, really nice. You can pair him with super weak champions as well. It's going to take you a lot longer. And of course, he doesn't land any provokes there. And he didn't have his Marauder. That's what I was talking about with the shield set. That's why I think it makes perfect sense for him in a shield set, just in case he doesn't have his cooldown, his A2 off cooldown, which was the case on this first run. Now he has Marauder up. Three turns of provoke. That's it. The Magma Dragon's going to be locked down the entire battle. So frankly, I love him with ally attackers because he gets a chance of landing that early provoke off the A1 just to buy us some time, especially if you don't have him in a shield set. And on top of that, man, I mean, you could really have almost anybody on this team that you have for DPS. Doesn't have to be a Cresias and whatevers, right? I would put him with an ally attacker or two. Ideally, not a Spirit Affinity. Sorry, Ferric and the Fat, right? Ally attacker. And then just, the rest is that's it. Everybody kills the Magma Dragon while he's locked down provoke thanks to Marauder in the A1. So there it is, Warchief. Hey, he puts out a decent 300k damage too. So that's it, man. That's the Warchief, the best provoker in the game. That's my favorite build for him. Let me know if you have any other unorthodox ways of using this champion, or if you're a fan of Warchief as well. Appreciate the champion guide requests. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you for supporting the channel, and as always, take care, guys.